Hi everybody. It's me, Texas Beach Mom, or Mama Robin if you prefer. If you're new here, welcome, and if you've been here before and you've come back, thank you so much. You know how much I appreciate you. I am a day late. I do try to do something every Wednesdays, Watts Wednesdays. Yesterday was not the day, so it's Thursday. I am a day late, but I am here. I've watched a couple of videos recently that I kind of want to talk about. I watched one by Real Killers. Now, let me say, I've mentioned him before in other videos. I think he does a phenomenal job. He does a great job. I'm very happy. All his videos. I mean, I really only watch the ones that deal with the Watts case. So I'm sure that his other stuff is very good as well. But he does a great job with that. So I would suggest go and watching him. He did one either yesterday or the day before. And he plays the entire interview with Frank Ruzek and CBI. But he uses pieces and parts of the interview as it's going, like he stops it for a minute, and he uses parts of things that Frank says to explain the monster that was asleep. The monster in Chris that was asleep, the monster that lay dormant. Whereas, had they really stopped and examined it, they would have seen him coming. He did have a lot of people fooled, which is what made him effective. Nobody saw this coming, but there was warning signs, and Frank mentions them as without realizing that he's talking about warning signs. So he did a really good job of doing this. Like, he did an amazing job. I recommend go watching anything by him, but if you want to talk about this specific video, go watch Real Killers. Anything. Like, most recent one, any of them. I think he does a great job. And if you watch him, you'll realize he has a very unique perspective on Chris Watts that most of us won't ever have, fortunately. But you'll understand his perspective, why he says things he says, and you'll understand him better once you understand his perspective. So I recommend watching. But anyhow, back to what I was saying. I'm in my living room today for a change instead of my bedroom. Anyhow, when I'm doing the edit on this, I will try to remember to put a link in the description for that video. If something happens and I forget to do it, say something to me in the comments and I'll go back and put the link in. I mean, the intention is to put it in the description box, but I might forget during the editing. Like I said, if I do and you want to see it, just ask me in the comments and I'll go find it and throw it in. But in this, Frank talked about Shanann and lupus. And he talks about how him and Shanann's mom knew she had health problems before she got diagnosed. And they took her to doctor after doctor after doctor before she got a lupus diagnosis and a fibromyalgia. And I did find out those two usually go hand in hand. I don't know why. Not always. Sometimes you can have one and not the other. Like, I've got a friend that's got fibromyalgia and she doesn't have lupus, and I've got an acquaintance that has lupus and doesn't have fibromyalgia. Shanann had both, according to her father. So for all you naysayers go, she didn't have it because people with lupus can't go out in the sun. There's so much I'm going to cover on this in a minute. But anyway, Frank talks about her health problems, and he talks about the lupus and the fibromyalgia. And he talks about how him and his wife used to take Shanann to the doctors and help her find out what's going on. It took her years to finally get the right diagnosis, and it does take a long time in most cases. But anyway, so the naysayers are going, well, she couldn't have had it because she goes out in the sun. Well, I did my own research on this. I joined a lupus support group called Understanding Lupus, and I explained to admin right off the bat that I didn't have lupus and I don't and at the time I didn't know anybody with it. I've met a couple people through the group now that I call acquaintances, that I talk to kind of regular basis. And this is what I learned from the admins and from other people in that group. There's many different types of lupus. It comes in many different types, many different forms, and it affects everybody differently. Just like coronavirus, COVID-19, it didn't affect everybody the same. It affected everybody differently. I know this is not a good example, but it's the only one that I come up with in more recent things where things can be different. Like one person can get really sick with COVID, one person can damn near die, one person can die, one person can get it, not even know they have it. Lupus kind of has the same effect on some people because there's, like I said, there's many different forms of lupus, and on top of there being many different forms of lupus, it can affect every person differently. So there is that. So for all you people going, she didn't have it because she goes out in the sun. One of the things that I've learned from that group, and I've had people comment on my channel. People come to me and said, she could have had lupus. She could have had it. Going out in the sun, you can go out. Some people go out in the sun with it. You got to take precautions usually, but you can go out in the sun with it. So that's one of the things I hear people gripe and bitch about. The other one was, well, lupus should have showed up in the autopsy, and it didn't show up in the autopsy, so she didn't have it. No, that's not necessarily the case either. As a matter of fact, I found this out from the same support group, and I actually talked to a mortician that I used to do makeup for a long time ago, back when I was doing cosmetology. I talked to a mortician, and an old mortician friend of mine, and he said that lupus does not show up in an average autopsy. You have to test for it. And in most cases, the test isn't done because it's already in the medical history, which in her case it would have been. And they don't test for it unless it's requested by a judge or something. So that's what I was told by a friend of mine that's a mortician that I used to work for. I used to do makeup. Ugh, I didn't do it for very long. Couldn't do it. But anyway, so there are several factors. So Frank talks about her lupus. He talks about her fibromyalgia. And I'm going to tell you from talking to people in a group called Understanding Lupus, I've been told the same things, that she could have had it, probably did have it. I've also talked to people that have left comments, and I've heard other people say, well, I have it, and I can't go out in the sun. If I went out in the sun, whatever. I'm sorry, just because, and I'm not, no disrespect to people that have it, and I'm so sorry that if they have it, that they go through it. But that just because you have it and this is a problem you're having with it doesn't mean that someone else doesn't have it. So to do that is not fair. It's just not fair. So that's one of the things I wanted to cover was, like I said, I joined a group called Understanding Lupus, and I told the admins what I was doing with it. I didn't. I just was doing research. And like I said, I have a close friend of mine that has fibromyalgia, but she doesn't have lupus. But I have understood from a lot of people that I've talked to that they can go hand in hand, and they do a lot. So that's an interesting thought. But back to his thing, he talks about, he goes into it, so I will do my best to link it in the description. And like I said, if I don't link it for some reason, somebody say something to me in the comments, remind me, and I'll go back and edit it in. But it's Real Killers, and he does a phenomenal job every time he does. But then I also watched one, and I don't watch his very often, but I did watch one by Zawoki the other day, and of course it was him reacting to someone else's video, and I'm trying to find the original video, the one he's reacting to. I haven't found it yet. But it's from somebody that did this video like a couple of years ago, like when evidence was still coming up new. And I can't remember her name, and I'll see if I can find the video I'm talking about, and I'll try to link his too. If not, somebody hit me up in the comments and I'll go find it. But Zawalki did one where he's talking about this woman who was watching, and there's I can't find the original video. Like I said, I haven't found it yet. But in the clip, you see what she's talking about. In Celeste's bedroom, after the police had left and everything, in Celeste's bedroom, one of the body cam um, videos, or maybe not be body cam, I'm sorry. It's a video, and I don't remember how it was gotten. God, I wish I'd have paid more attention. I think in the process of trying to find this video, I think I forgot exactly, but there's a video, and it's after the murders, and it's there. Whoever is taking this video is in Celeste's room, and in Celeste's room after the murders. Now, this is just one of her theories based on some information she found, but her theory kind of makes sense. So here we go. In the video, on the carpeted floor, you can see a pretty good size, I'd say pretty good size, hair tie, ponytail holder. Now, she put those little kids in pigtails all the time. She did it all the time. All the time. But you can tell by looking at them that she used those little bitty rubber band things, the little kid rubber bands. This was a pretty good size hair tie. Made for somebody with really thick hair. Now, even if you don't have thick hair, you can loop it over and over and over and use it on thinner hair. But it didn't look like the type that Shanann used on the kids. And you very seldom saw one in Shanann's hair at all in any of her videos. That doesn't mean, though, that she didn't use them when she wasn't doing videos. She might have used them all the time. It just didn't look like something she would have. It does, though. There's a few video clips of Nicole Kessinger, and she's got one like it on her wrist. You know how a lot of times girls will wear those ties on their wrist so they can have access to it when they need to pull their hair up. She had on like a hat and stuff, but one of those same hair ties. Now, that hair tie doesn't prove anything, but it does offer more speculation on to Nicole being there that night. Because I have said before, I mean, I kind of bounce back and forth on whether or not she was there. On any given day, I might tell you, I think she might have had something to do with it, but I don't think she actually participated. And then on the very next given day, I might say, yep, she killed those kids. She killed those kids. He didn't do it. He did admit to killing Shanann after she killed the kids, but he for a long time didn't want to admit to killing those kids, and there is a very good chance. There is a couple stories, couple theories, or actually in his own stories, he talks about how they were smothered in bed, and then they woke back up, which means whoever smothered them didn't do a good job. And then he ended up smothering them again in the truck. Smothered and strangled. I think, maybe I need to go back and do some more research again. But he talked about how they were killed once and then woke back up, and then he had to kill them again. If Nicole Kessinger was involved, like directly involved, as some of us think, I think she would have been the one to kill the kids. Like, I think she's the one that killed them the first time. And I think when she didn't do the job right, he had to finish the job. And I think partly the reason why he had to finish the job was, one, because it was part of the plan. And I do believe they were part of the plan. But two, a lot of people talk about how Celeste was very quiet. He talked, because this has been talked about in interviews. A lot of people discuss the fact that he said that Celeste was very quiet. Most people don't see Celeste being quiet on a 45-minute car trip. They think he's lying. I don't think he's lying. I think she was quiet, and I'll tell you why. And I know this is a sickening thought. I know this is going to hurt people to think about it in this form. My thought and theory on this, because Celeste is quiet, or because she's usually rowdy and she was quiet all the way for 45 minutes, which normally I wouldn't see. But I think he told the truth about her being quiet. And I'll tell you why, like I was getting ready to say. I think when she was killed the first time and the job wasn't completed and she woke back up, I think she was basically brain dead. I think she was basically brain dead. I really do. I think that's why she was so quiet all the way out there, because Celeste was a loud and rowdy baby. Whereas Bella was the shy, quiet one. So I believe when he says that Bella said to him, "Daddy, don't," I believe that was because she knew something was up. I believe Celeste was quiet for the whole ride out there to Survey 319 because she was basically brain dead. I do. And I'm sorry if I hurt people by saying that. But if we're going to discuss the case and all the possibilities, that's a possibility. Now, something else that keeps getting thrown back and forth, I've seen in comments a lot lately or in other videos, there's talk, again, that Shanann wasn't killed in bed. And I've said before, I believe she was killed at the house. I don't believe she was killed in bed. And I've said why. Because at the moment of death, all her bodily fluids would have been expressed. They all would have come out. Those fluids are not going to sit on those sheets. They're going to soak right through that sheet onto the mattress. That would have been a big, nasty, smelly stain all over the mattress that he wouldn't have been able to get rid of. Here's a theory that I heard somebody say something about, and I wish I could remember who, because I would love to credit them for it. If I can remember who, I'll mention something in the description. And I think it's the same girl that, okay, I said Zawoki was doing a video. I think he's watched a couple of her videos, and I think this was mentioned in one of her videos. Not just the hair tie, but there was a rug at the bottom of the basement stairs originally, and it had been rolled up and stuck on one of the shelves. Okay, now one of the dogs did go off in the basement a lot, but the handler never addressed it. And I'm wondering, based on this girl's theory, a lot of people believe Shanann was killed in the basement, but she went down there to confront Chris. Maybe there wasn't sex, but she went down there to confront Chris. She might have been standing on that rug when he killed her. Her fluids would have been all over that rug. There's in one of the 2 or 3 of the videos, you can see the carpet shampooer down there. Maybe he shampooed that up real quick. Like maybe he got her off of that, put her in trash bags or whatever, got her out to the truck, shampooed that really quick, because it wouldn't take really long with the carpet, and then rolled that rug up and stuck it on one of those shelves. Now that might be far-fetched in some people's minds, it might not be. I definitely don't believe she was killed. I do believe she was killed in the house, but I don't believe she was killed in the bedroom, and I've already said why. There'd be a stain all over that mattress. But there was a rug down there at the bottom of the stairs. They might have been standing on that rug arguing. He might have killed her there. Might have. All those fluids have been on the rug. He gets her off that rug. He wraps her up, takes her to the truck, runs that carpet shampooer. Because we don't know what time she died. She got home at 1:45 in the morning, or 10 minutes till 2 in the morning. He didn't start leaving to 5:30? We don't know what happened. None of us were there. We're speculating at this point. In my opinion, that's another possible theory. In my opinion, it's a possible way for him to do this. Was it they had an argument there. He killed her right there. Her fluids were leaked all over that rug. He got her off that rug, got her put to the side. Whatever he did with her, shampooed that rug, wrapped it up, put it on one of those shelves. because I remember those dogs going off in that basement. And I remember Agent Tammy Lee asking him several times about the basement. He didn't have a good answer for the basement. She might have died. And a lot of people think that anyway, that she died in the basement. If he killed her on that rug and then cleaned it up with a shampoo and then wrapped it up, that would explain why the dogs were going off in the basement. But what I don't understand with the dogs going off in the basement, why it wasn't addressed. So yeah, those are some possible theories. There's the Real Killers video, which talks about a lot of things about Shanann and Chris, which if you're really listening, you can pick up on some stuff. And if you don't pick up on your own, he points them out. And then, like I said, there's the Zawoki video where that chick talks about the hair tie could have been Nicole's because she had thicker hair than Shanann's. Longer, thicker hair. And it just doesn't look like something she would buy for Cece. It doesn't look like something she'd buy for herself. But that doesn't mean anything. And on the rug thing that this other girl mentioned, if he killed her on that rug, and with that carpet shampoo down there, cleaned it up, rolled it up, stuck it on that shelf, explains why the dog was going off. So yeah, there's some more food for thought on Watts Wednesday, or it's Watts Thursday, damn near Friday. At the time I'm recording this, it's late Thursday night, damn near Friday morning. But I've just been really busy the last couple of days, but I've been promising to keep up on these, so I kept my promise. I'm a day late, but I'm here. So, anyway, that's all I got for you right now. Always feel free to leave your comments. Like I said, if I forget to do something I said I was going to do, remind me in the comments. If you have questions, ask me. If you want to present your own theories, go for it. That's why I do this. That's why I do this. Just don't bring hate. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you for much. Just don't bring hate. Nobody wants hate. All right? Anyway, I love everybody. I want everybody to be safe. Have a good night.